Good morning, everyone, from beautiful Ottawa, the capital of Canada. It is 8 a.m. here in Canada. 各位国内的朋友，晚上好。My name is Shaw. I'm the senior employment advisor here in Ottawa. And next to me is my colleague, Jay.
Good morning.
Yeah. And I also have our colleague from Calgary, Ali. Ali, are you online?
I am online, Shaw.
Perfect, thank you. So three of us, we're online here to conduct this post VCEs. Your next step, what do you do? Now that you have participated in our fifth National Virtual Career Expo, or VCE 5, what do you do? We also later on we're gonna keep our talking point very short today, and we're gonna spend more time on question and answer, so that any of you have any questions regarding some of your experiences, some of your encounters, and whether it's good or bad, or if you have any feedbacks, by all means let us know, and we'll be happy to answer you. We do have three very qualified, including myself, very qualified employment advisor here today, so we're here to answer any of your questions. We're also going to have a bit of a feedback from some of our employers and clients that by each one of us. So without further ado, we're going to get started with today's presentation. First of all, okay, now I just need to know how to change the slide. First of all, for those of you who are not familiar with Intact Pre-Arrival Services, we are funded by the Ministry of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, and our service to all eligible clients there are no charge to use our service. We are here to help you prepare yourself before you come to Canada. We also have various organizations that we also have like post-arrival services for people that's already here. So long as you're eligible, there are no fee to use our services, whether it's here in Ottawa or in Calgary or in Vancouver. We are partnering with our ISS or BC in Vancouver and Immigrant Services in Calgary. Our services are basically divided into two major categories. One is called settlement support, and the other one is employment support. Settlement support, we obviously help you with everything you need regarding getting your where to stay, how to negotiate a lease, how to avoid some of the traps in a leasing agreement, finding schools for your child or children, getting your driver's license, opening bank account, etc. And there's always, if you are an eligible Intact Pre-Arrival Service client, you can certainly go online and request a one-on-one service. So any one of our settlement senior advisors will be happy to chat with you one-on-one to discuss about your unique requirement related to settlement services. Same thing with employment support is we also have the one-on-one. So anytime we have any questions, please go online. For all eligible and registered clients, go online, go to our website, www.in-tac-prearrival.ca. I understand for our friends in China, the website is in-tac-prearrival.com. Okay, so you can go online, register. If you're not registered yet, please go online and register, and then you can request a one-on-one service, whether it's on employment or on settlement. On employment, we obviously help you with your career transitions. We help you with your resume corrections. We help you with interview skills. We will conduct mock interviews. We will provide you with some of the latest labor market information to the cities and provinces where you'll be settled, and we will help you connect with employers. So speaking of connecting with employers, and this is VCE 5, which is then our National Virtual Career Expo, which is something that we organized twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. So we just conduct our latest one on October the 18th and 19th, 2018 here in based out of Ottawa. And this is where we're going to go. So we also conduct, obviously, during the one-on-one service, we can do either through phone, through WeChat, through Skype, or through email. And sometimes we do it through WebEx. And as a group sessions, we have live online workshops such as the one we do here. And we also have WeChat groups. Right now, I think we're up to 8 or 9 different WeChat groups now. So please look us up on Intact Pre-Arrival Service. And then there's a QR code that you can actually scan right now if you're not connected with us through WeChat. So scan this code. I'm going to give you 10, 20 seconds to scan the code, and then you can join any one of our 9 different employment-related group or settlement. Okay, good. So, project overview, as we mentioned earlier, we are here in Ottawa. We are a pre-arrival service, and we are funded by the IRCC. And this is managed by INTA stands for International Talent Acquisition Center, and we are part of the organization called the OCCAC, or Ottawa Chinese Community Service Center. And our primary objective is help our clients with their settlement and employment needs prior to landing in Canada. This is a free service for all eligible clients. So please go online, go to register if you're not registered yet, and follow through the registration process, and they will ask you for various documents. So once you complete all that, you will know right away whether you're eligible clients or not. Okay. So here's a little bit about Intact. Well, why do you want to work with us? Intact, actually, our employment service started about in 2007 from one person doing part-time to now, where we have offices in Ottawa, Calgary, Vancouver. We also have a representative office in Toronto and in China. And all in all, we have I would say about close to 25 full-time staff here. And they are all pretty much some of the most experienced job developers or advisors that we have available. That's available. That are combined. I guess a combined experience is what, 300 years maybe. So we certainly know a thing or two about helping our clients with their employment requirements. And we also won the Best Work Integration Program in Canada among all the service agencies across Canada. So this is something that we're extremely proud of. And we have employer partners all across Canada, as it was evident during the VCE 5 and also in the previous VCEs. You'll see that our aim is to have employers that has either a provincial or national, or in some cases international presence, so that you could be working for that company. For example, you could be working right now for Oracle in China or in India, yet you could possibly work for Oracle here in Canada. So we are trying to provide all Microsoft, so that it will have some kind of any way we can do to try to help you find a job here in Canada that matches your skill set. Many of the jobs posted in our VCEs are what we call the very exclusive jobs. So basically, it's the employers that only provide those jobs to give Intact Pre-Arrival Services an opportunity before they post those jobs into the public domain. So this is something that we establish a very, very direct and good trusting relationship with our employers. So that makes, because of that, it is also more important that we are very, 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 very careful when we screen our clients because we do not our employers trust us to find the right candidate for them. So we need to do a our due diligence process is very screening process is very stringent because we are more like we are an extension of the employer's hiring arm. So we need to do the jobs for them. But the good thing about it is, as I mentioned in my various workshop and every time when I do any road shows, is the fact that when we do submit your resume to our employer partners, we can certainly, I would say 99.9% of the time, the employer will review your resume. And anybody that's been submitting resumes online, job applications online, hundreds and hundreds of them, you will understand that this is actually to have somebody to actually read the resume it's a very challenging to begin with. Okay, and then we also host the National Virtual Career Expo, which is VCE, and this is where we're going to talk about today. It's our recently held VCE 5. So in today's workshop, we're going to talk about how to properly follow up with employers that you apply for their open positions, how to expand your horizons to get connected with employment opportunities in Canada, what are you not supposed to do, and how can Intact-Rail Employment Service help? Okay, so I'm going to just right now, Ali. Good morning, Ali. Yeah.
Good morning.
So just wondering, do you have any personal tips or professional tips about how to properly follow up with employers after they have applied for their open positions on VCE 5?
Thank you, Shaw. Well, just to give a background, personally, I have followed with a lot of the employers. I had about 15 employers in Toronto, Alberta, some other part of Canada. They participated in the Virtual Career Expo, and I have followed with a lot of them. And I asked them, how was it? One of the things that a lot of them they suggest to me that it's a great networking event. They have collected a lot of resume. They have come across a lot of potential, well-skilled job seekers, which are good for them in the future, where they could connect with them. So again, my point is, it's a great connection. If you had a chance to talk to, an HR manager or direct hiring manager, if you know their name, perfect. You have a chance to go look them up on LinkedIn. Okay, if you look them up on LinkedIn and you follow up with them and request to connect with this, HR manager or direct hiring manager, they know you. Like I said, I have personally connected with them, and from PCM Canada, she told me that she has connected with several people on LinkedIn that maybe they will be future candidates in Calgary or other part of Canada. So, it may not be right away a job, but the thing is, this is a great opportunity to follow up with them through email, but particularly through LinkedIn. If you know their name, I would personally recommend that you look them up and send them a message that you have connected with them on LinkedIn, on Virtual Career Expo, and now you want to connect with them on LinkedIn to follow with them. So that's one personal recommendation. Back to you, Shaw. I don't know. I hope that helps. Other area that I could suggest, beside LinkedIn, like I said, if you know any of this company that you have specifically talked to their HR or human resource manager, or hiring manager, if you have collected information such as their email, their connection, Don't be afraid to, to follow up with them. And the recommendation I personally recommend, you don't have to directly ask them for a position. But what you could, follow up with them, ask them question about the company, because at the end of the day, what for a lot of employers, hiring managers, what's matter for them, what they want to see is to show interest in their company. Okay, you need to show interest, and by asking and inquiring about the company, that it clearly shows interest in that company. And take advantage of that. That's a great conversation. And later on, once you build that connection and that relationship with HR manager or hiring manager, you could always ask for any opportunity that comes up in that company, and or vice versa. If you see an opportunity that is open with PCM Canada, for example, now that's a great opportunity. All you have to do just follow up with your connection. Say, hey, I applied for this position with PCM Canada, and I just wondered if you could actually give extra consideration to my resume. So, I mean, like I said, any connection, any relationship you built with the company, it may not pay off today, but it definitely will pay off in probably 2 months, in a month, or 3 months, or later on, because companies here, they always hire. There's always opportunity, and then when you apply for that position now, it's a lot easier for you just to follow up with the employer or the HR manager and just say, hey, I just applied for that position, and I hope you consider my resume for that position. So it's just easy, and with that connection, honestly, there's a lot of doors opens, and I can tell you, based on the study that has been done, and then I have listened to that, a lot of the jobs that they get filled, and then people apply for it, that they're not in the market. Shah, could you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, my apology. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Like I said, a lot of the position and jobs that is out there, that a lot of them, 80% of them, does not even get advertised. They get filled before you and I even see it on a website or in a on Indeed or somewhere else. So what that means, a lot of job seekers, they get these jobs through connection, through other connections, could be personal connection or direct connection or indirect connection. So having built a connection with employers, guaranteed, will one day will land you a job. It just may not be today or tomorrow, but it will get you a job. And like I said, many study has been done. 80% of the job get filled before they even advertise. So what that means, people apply for the job and they get job constantly through referral, through connection, and other means, without even applying directly to that website or Indeed. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Sean Jay, and yeah.
So Jay, you have any advice on the first one, how to properly follow up with employers?
Sure, very quickly. There might be some review of things Ali said, but firstly, I would go back to the careers page of the companies that you were interested in or engaging. Firstly, to see, are there some new roles that are very similar or would suit your background? Because some of our bigger partners like IBM or the big financial services companies like TD Bank or CIBC, I mean, they're refreshing their job listings weekly. They're constantly changing because they're so big and they have so many jobs in so many different cities. So just because the VCE is over doesn't mean your strategy for those companies is over. And in fact, I would keep at it. That's what we're talking about today. And I would go back to revisit some of those companies' careers pages to see if there's new opportunities for you. Now, the same thing when you go back to that careers page on their website and you see that position that you applied for in the VCE, you know, I would reapply again if possible. I mean, why not? It might be redundant meaning not necessary, or it you know, I don't know if it's worth your time, but I think it's worth your time. Would you not try again? Right? It's like throwing, it's like putting another bet down on the table, so to speak. It doesn't hurt to reapply for the same position. You don't know how the employer was receiving resumes for the VCE. Some of the employers on the VCE, when you apply to those jobs, that's going directly to the talent acquisition manager. I mean, so some of them were linked back to the website of the employer during the VCE. So therefore, for the ones that they're going directly to the talent manager, the applications, if you were to go on the website now and reapply for the same job, I mean, it might be going to the company in a different way, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe it goes to a different talent acquisition staff or a different HR manager. You don't know. So why not even reapply to the same thing? Because maybe you can walk through a different door, is what I'm trying to say. Like Ali, I completely agree. If you know the name of the recruiter that you were talking to at that company, you had a good conversation, now is a time to maybe follow up. So if you have their email, you could email them. You probably don't have their email. You could try and find their email yourself on the internet, on Google, do some due diligence, do some research. And the other way, like Ali said, is, well, find them on LinkedIn. And you could try and find them in LinkedIn and say, you know, engage them, add them, or say, we had a good conversation 10 days ago about such and such job opening. How can I follow up? How can I apply? How can I continue this conversation with you? That's a good strategy. It's, to some extent, it's these people's job to find new skilled workers like you guys. I think that's 3 to 4 points that I think could be done, Shah.
Perfect. So, but most importantly is, as you heard, a very, very good advice from Ali and from Jay. But most important is, don't forget, Intact Pre-Arrival can help you as well. So if you're already a registered client, by all means, request a one-on-one and provide information that says, okay, I applied for this company, for this job. Can you help me follow up? So by doing that, you give us the name of the employer, so we know which one of the employment advisor was the one that have a relationship with the employers. So we can actually, you know what? Okay, this is someone, like, for example, if you want to say Air Canada, for example, you apply for a job in Air Canada. That's my employer partner. So in your one-on-one request, says, "Oh, I applied for this job on Air Canada website on that day. I haven't heard anything. Do you have any advice for me?" Like, you just make sure you request one-on-one. And this is, I have to remind everyone again, there's no charge. So as a new Canadian, this is some of the perks that the government are extending to you. So please use this to your advantage. There's so many, Ali just mentioned it, Jay just mentioned it, we have direct relationship. We have many, many ways that we can connect to the employers that you don't necessarily have now. So use it, that's what we're here for. So if you're not Intact Pre-Arrival clients, please register. You cannot request a one-on-one unless you are a registered client. Again, we will have the website at the end. It's in-tac-prearrival.ca for specifically for the clients in China. It's in-tac-prearrival.com. Okay. Now the second point is, well, speaking of Air Canada, for example, as Jay mentioned earlier, a lot of these job changes in Air Canada. The jobs actually changes on a daily basis. I got a call from Air Canada during the first day of VCE saying that, wait a minute, we just added 20 new jobs the night before, but it's not reflected in their job board and during the VCE 5. Well, unfortunately, our platform is so huge that we have to make sure that all the job has to be on the VCE 5 due to various other constraints. So please go to Air Canada's website. You will see new jobs just about on a daily basis. So if you're interested to work for Air Canada and you didn't find any suitable jobs during the VCE 5, it does not mean that that job is not available now. Okay, so make sure you follow up with various companies' website. Now, second part is how to expand your horizons to get connected with employment opportunities here in Canada. Before we go any further, another thing is please stay organized. I hope all of you have established what we call the job search spreadsheet. Be organized. Make sure what day you apply, you saw the job, what day you apply, who you spoke to, what was the company, what was the job title, how did you submit your resume. So those are some of the stuff that if you are organized, you will also realize, it's easier for us to help you during the one-on-one. So what jobs did you apply? So it's easier for us to help you if you're organized. It is also in your benefit to stay organized. For example, you could be walking down the street and you got a phone call and somebody says, oh, by the way, I understand you applied for Java developer. My name is this, I'm from this company. If you were organized, you will almost immediately understand, oh, yeah, that was the company that yes, I did apply. So at least the way you reply, the tone of your reply, it's more confident than, what? What? When did I apply? So those are all some of the things that you could potentially ruin the opportunity that was given to you, that was provided to you through our platform. So just keep that in mind. All of these will be explained in detail during one-on-one sessions. So I cannot stress enough. If you're not an Intact pre-arrival client, register today. And once you register, you will get an email confirmation. Once you have that, you can request one-on-one sessions. We got to do this now while the recruiters still remember you if you already applied for a job. So do it as soon as you can, okay? It is in your best benefit. So we can only say as much as we can, but it is still up to you to take the appropriate action to get you to where you want to be in the future. So the second point is how to expand your horizons to get connected with employment opportunities in Canada. So I'm going to start on this one. I'll let Jay and Ali join a little bit. I'm just going to be very, very simple. Is, for example, you're a telecom specialist. You're a telecom veteran. You have many years in telecom, and then you saw Huawei's posting. But now that you know Huawei Canada is posting these jobs, there's nothing stop you to look into the other telecom giants that was not on VCE 5, such as Nokia, Ericsson, Mitel, all the other, or even service providers such as TELUS, Bell, Rogers. So those are all some what we call, by letting you see what Huawei Canada is hiring right now, chances are their competition is hiring the same people. So this is how you expand your horizon. For example, the banks. You saw CIBC, you saw TD, you saw Scotiabank. Are those the only 3 banks in Canada? No, there are many other banks. So if they're hiring the people, chances are their competition are hiring the same position. So go check on that competition and check on their website, and you can apply there. So you if you even had an opportunity to speak to any one of the representatives like Scotiabank or TD Bank, you will get a little bit of insight about what kind of quality they're looking for. And guess what? That's the same quality that RBC, BMO, Bank of Montreal, Desjardins, other Bank National, all these banks are looking for. It's the same. So this is how you expand your horizon. Okay, Jay, you have anything to add on that?
I do. I'll add one thing. So the VCE was expanding our horizons because, of course, it was national, and we had employers and community partners from across the country, many provinces, many cities participate. Now, moving forward, one potential strategy could be for those of you that are for sure going to a certain city, or you have top 2 cities for your landing, maybe you can continue on with a more geographically focused strategy and dig a little deeper into your industry or employers for your industry or background for specifically the cities that you're landing in, whether it's Calgary, for example, or maybe it's Regina, or maybe it's, maybe you're a telecom engineer and you're very interested in Ottawa. So, VCE was a good starting point for the horizon, the broad horizon. And maybe now can be a time to continue on, however, with maybe a more focused strategy from a geographical standpoint. And like Shaw said, now you need to dig a little bit deeper. Who else is there besides Huawei in Ottawa? There's also Ericsson offices here in Nokia. You can do the same thing if you're a field engineer for the oil and gas industry, going to Calgary, going to Alberta. Let's have a geographic focused strategy moving forward.
Exactly. Like Ali, just because TransCanada is there, does that mean they're the only oil and gas company in Calgary?
No, there's numbers of oil and gas companies in Alberta, like Fort McMurray, Edmonton, Calgary.
That's right.
Yeah. So just one thing to add, Shaw mentioned a few really good points. This is a clear example I want to just share with you. I just posted VC. I had a client in China emailed me and he said, I connected with NAV Canada and I connected with ID Fusion. It happens that I actually recruit both of those employers to participate in the National Virtual Career Expo. And she said, I'm interested in two positions that they have open and wondered if you could help me. I said, absolutely. Just send me your resume cover letter and I will directly send it to Sarah and Joel. And those are the hiring managers in those companies. So what I did, I forwarded his resume directly to Sarah and Joel. And then send that email, they send me, we will look at the resume. Now, my point is, if you connect with one of us, and you apply for a position, we actually forward your resume to the right person and your resume get to looked at it by a hiring manager. So it's not going to be piled with hundreds of resume where nobody will look at it. So that's the difference. If you go to Indeed, I talk to a lot of clients, they apply for position in Indeed and other website. That's good, like you said, you're building connection and you're doing all of that. But applying for position through us, through the company, we had over 51 company participating in this virtual, and there's like hundreds of jobs in these companies. And if you apply, that means you have a chance to actually connect with somebody, because we will refer your resume and we'll ask somebody to look into your resume. So that's the advantage. And please, use Intact Job Portal. We post jobs there constantly, regularly, weekly basis. We post jobs, and those jobs are actually there to be filled. And if you apply, that means you get actually a priority. So again, please use Intact Job Portal. We post a lot of jobs, and those jobs is there for you to apply for them. Back to you, Shaw.
Yeah. Well, just to be more, just to clarify, those jobs are only if your registered clients can apply for. So you need to be a registered client. So if you haven't registered, please do so as soon as possible. Okay, so we're a little bit running out of time here, so I'm just gonna go quickly. And I guess Ali and Jay, we each gonna say a point about what you're not supposed to do. I'll start. What you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to send the same resume to the same company for 5 for multiple roles. That's totally different. Okay, this if anything, you are gonna be almost like if it happens to be the same HR person that review that thing and then say, oh no, this person again, it comes to a point where when they see your name, they're not even gonna bother to open your resume. Okay, so don't do that. Okay.
If there was something you're not to do, because that's what you said, Shah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to do.
I think so. The most common negative feedback I had from employers about their interactions with the job seekers during the VCE were those job seekers that were lacking in strategy or not prepared. And an example of lacking in strategy is basically having no strategy. Just saying, do you have a job for me?
Yeah.
So no one, they don't really know. The talent acquisition might not know. They don't know who you are and probably don't know your background. So if your strategy is just to get to the end point, get a job, hey, I mean, of course, we all want a great job in our background, but there's no strategy there. And people don't have patience or respect your lack of strategy. There's thousands of other job seekers that maybe have a better strategy than you and are respecting their time more. So to answer your question concisely, Shah, I mean, don't go engage that recruiter or that company with no strategy again or lack of strategy again. I think this morning or this evening, depending on where you are, let's create some good strategies for post VCE follow-up and implement those strategies. One of which, the job search spreadsheet. That's a great idea, and you made me remember. I used to do that in Hong Kong a few years ago when I was between jobs.
Okay.
Because eventually you do forget where your conversations left off. What was their name? What was the most key talking points of that previous phone call the week before, right?
Yep.
If you remember who you were talking to, where you left off, what your next steps were supposed to be, well, you'll be able to follow that plan or create a plan that should lead to further success and lead you to the next step in the journey. So that's just an example of having a plan and, be ready to have engaging conversations with those companies. But, what you shouldn't do is just bother people, literally say, hey, do you have a job for you? I mean, people, there's no strategy in that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents there.
Ali, you have a point to add?
I'll just touch base on LinkedIn because you both covered mainly resume. So on LinkedIn, again, I tell you this, I'm on LinkedIn constantly, and I see most of the employers that I talk to, they're on LinkedIn. They post jobs on LinkedIn, and they ask for job seekers to apply for position on LinkedIn. Is honestly, LinkedIn is very effective if you use it properly. And I would not say not to use if you have any connection with any of those companies. What I would recommend, do not directly ask them for position. If it's a hiring manager or is it just an employee, do not, because asking somebody for a favor is, in a company, it's a bit could be too much. It could be, pressure, could be anything, because you don't know, what's their relation with that company, how long be that company. But what you could do is build a relationship. Ask about the company, make the ground soft for yourself, be comfortable, make him comfortable by talking to you, building all this. But you have time to, ask him directly for that position. If you see a position, like I said, say, hey, I applied for this position. I just wondered if you could actually maybe talk to the manager to give a priority. That's how I will approach it, rather than say, hey, is there a position in that company? Because you can always look up the company website, check their position, apply, and say, hey, I applied with that company. Wondered if you could actually give me a reference, or could you maybe talk to your hiring manager, see maybe they can give me a priority. Use LinkedIn and use it, smart, and use it wisely.
Okay. Thank you, Ali. So as you can see, Intact, like just 3 of us, we have 3 different views about how to help you. Much like when you apply to a job to to one company A and company B, the people that review your resume will have a different view on what they're looking for in your resume. So this is all some of the strategies that Jay was talking about. Some of the ways that you do research and how to communicate with people, like was Ali's talking about, whether it's direct communication through email or through LinkedIn, or through VCE5, or just apply for jobs on company website. So this is all some of the tips that we're mentioning today, but we'll be able to help you one-on-one, because not every one of you are the same. So every one of you have a unique skill set, unique requirements, going to different cities. So we can help you on a one-on-one basis. So this is how Intact Pre-Arrival Employment Services can help, is for you to approach us, book a one-on-one consultation sessions with any one of our experienced employment counselor, and we'll be able to help you. So please register if you haven't done so. If you are a registered client and you have already booked one-on-one, someone will be assigned to you. If we haven't done so already, it will be done very, very quickly. But I'm pretty sure that we're actually pretty good now right now, because we really caught up with a lot of, because every one of us, we work, even though our regular hours is like 8 hours a day, but we believe me, none of us has worked 8-hour days for the past, I don't know how many months, right, Ali? Look at Ali. He's doing this from his home at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so this is how dedicated we are to trying to help you. But we can only help you if you help us. Book one-on-one sessions, become our client, and we'll be able to help you. It's that simple. Because real settlement starts with employment. Okay, so this will conclude today's workshop for now. We will get to the Q&A sessions shortly. Thank you for your attention. There are many ways to get in touch with us. As I said earlier, is WeChat, is IN_TAC. You can go to our Facebook. For those of you who have access to Facebook, is Intact Pre-Arrival Services. Our LinkedIn page is Intact Pre-Arrival, and Himalaya is 加拿大我等你. So those are all the various ways you can get in touch with us. Before we get to the Q&A, I would like to ask all the participants today in today's workshop to take about a minute or two to complete the poll that we just posted, and we will wait for about 2 minutes. Then we'll start the Q&A sessions. I know there are many questions already, so we will get to that soonest in a couple minutes. Okay.